If I have familial hypercholesterolemia, should I even bother worrying about my diet or eating plan? Can that truly even benefit me? So this is very interesting, and actually I can credit you all for actually showing me the way. Because what I would tell you is that what we are taught, and this is almost like it's an absolute, that if someone's LDL or bad cholesterol is 190 or greater, the only thing that's going to work is to put them on a drug. We are taught this. This is, familial hypercholesterolemia, it's defined by an LDL, bad cholesterol of 190 or greater, equals statins, equals drugs. Like, don't even bother talking about diet. But what you've all told me, because we've seen this, you've sent in your results, is that's actually not true. There are people who can benefit from eating better or eating differently and can see a meaningful cholesterol reduction. And in some, this isn't like by 10 points. Some people that start off very high, we've seen LDLs drop 100 points. Like, this is actually a pretty amazing result. So what I would say, and this may be the nidus of the next study, is that, the recommendation to put people with familial hypercholesterolemia on drugs alone and forget about nutrition is actually wrong. It's wrong. And in some ways this kind of makes sense, because if you look at cholesterol metabolism and why cholesterol is high, there's a spectrum. There are people who are avid producers of cholesterol. Doesn't matter what the inputs are, doesn't matter how skinny they are, how many vegetables they eat, how many marathons they run, it doesn't matter. Their LDL is genetically scripted, it's this. And the body just keeps making cholesterol to get to that specific number. Those individuals, it doesn't matter how well they eat, right? They're not going to really impact their cholesterol readings very much. The good news is those individuals are incredibly sensitive to statin drugs. Even a small dose of a statin can lower their LDL like through the basement. On the other side are people who are avid absorbers. And it's not so much the cholesterol in food that they're absorbing, it's the cholesterol in bile that they are reabsorbing from the digestive tract as part of the digestive process. And bile is very cholesterol rich, and you can read about the mechanism in our blogs, but safe to say, like, where absorption is the main driver of cholesterol. And in those individuals, if you change nutrition, specifically, increase fiber and plant sterol intake, which affect bile cholesterol cholesterol absorption in the digestive system, you can markedly reduce LDL cholesterols. They're very sensitive to diet. So those are the two extremes. And in those individuals, statins don't work very well because they're not really producing a lot, they're absorbing it all. And in between is everybody else. So those are the two extremes. Most of us live in the gray, and so there's variable response to a nutrition intervention. But anyway, going back to familial hypercholesterolemia, if your LDL is very high, I wouldn't think twice about trying a dietary intervention to see what sort of result you have. If nothing else, if you go from an LDL of 300 now to 200, boy, your medication doesn't have to work nearly as hard. So you may be able to get to your goal cholesterol with lower doses.